We've seen severe weather risk across the country throughout the season, obviously, but as far as the central high plains, right around Colorado, it's the highest risk day for tornadoes that we have had so far this season. More on that in a moment. So we are worried about tornadoes today across a large section of the country, from Wyoming through Colorado, out into the plains, down perhaps into the panhandles, as well as very large hail. Damaging wind will also be possible today, and a lot of the metro areas too will see a hail risk, including Denver, Cheyenne, Colorado Springs. Severe thunderstorm risk areas highlighted here. You can see quite a swath here in the general marginal areas, but once you move into slight or enhanced, you're really focused on eastern Colorado, western Kansas, down into Oklahoma. That's the highest risk potential, or greatest mixture of ingredients, if you will, for severe weather. Now the tornado risks start in Montana, go all the way down to the south into the panhandle of Texas, but the bullseye is here in Colorado. Why is this unusual? Well, this animation goes from May 1st through today, and it's the morning outlook for tornadoes each day. Risks are 2%, 5%, 10%, so on. Colorado, in that same region, we've had a handful to several 2% days. There's been a small handful of 5% days. But this Thursday is the highest risk day of 10% for parts of the eastern plains. So that's where that is generated. That's the highest risk day of the season so far for tornadoes. And again, that's going to be mostly southeastern Colorado, just outside of Colorado Springs down to about Springfield and Lamar. But a 5% risk, which is rare for Denver area, is right on the edge of that 5% risk for a tornado later Thursday, late afternoon into the evening. That covers our tornadoes. And for more local perspective on that and the forecast timing, weather5280.com. Beyond today, as we get into Friday, another risk of severe storms from Denver down into the panhandle of Texas, out into Oak City, Wichita, Kansas City will be included in a higher risk day tomorrow as well. From Cheyenne down to Oklahoma City, out to Memphis for Saturday. So the risks of severe weather continue, kind of a stagnant or slow-paced weather system, weather pattern, if you will, across the country continues, and that's why the day-to-day chances for damaging weather have been so prolific across the high plains and out into the central plains. How much water are we talking about? Big old swath of some high totals stretches from Colorado, eastern Colorado, out over Wichita to Memphis, down to Jackson, and those totals will be more than 3 inches, less or so to the northern plains, less or so for the Corn Belt. A much needed time for water for silking taking place right now. Hazards, so much rain comes through that we could see some isolated flooding in these highlighted areas, and that goes through the 8th and 9th of July, and then New England will also catch some heavy precip as we get into the 9th and 10th. What about temperatures? Been extreme so far in cases earlier this season. More record highs on the way for parts of New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, Florida. New England will have some record highs. Every dot on the map is a record high, potentially threatened, as we go throughout the course of this week ahead. The extreme heat does continue, mostly across the far southern tier of the states, as we go all the way through the 12th. Let's expand this into next week, and the hazards of hotter temperatures move northward. Kind of a ridge or a dome of calmer weather starting to push the heat in to Salt Lake City, close to Cheyenne, Denver with chances for excessive heat, Oklahoma City out toward Montgomery, Atlanta, Columbia, Raleigh, all the way down through Florida. Again, that's next week. So we're talking about dates like the 13th to July 17th for that heat to be building across the southern USA. So right now the weather pattern is very, very active. Lots of severe weather. In the longer term outlook, we shift that severe weather away from the high plains and start to bring in the heat for the southwest and some of those central and high plains. That's today's daily shower. Last video was a daily shower. Go back 2 videos and you'll find information on this stagnant weather pattern. What's creating this pattern across the country?